الحمد لله رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين، وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات. ربنا لك الحمد حتى ترضى، ولك الحمد إذا رضيت، ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. صل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيد الأولين والآخرين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صفيه من خلقه وخليله أمين على وحيه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. And dear respected brother and sister in Islam, all praise and glory and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We owe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala everything we have. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِّعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. We're actually drowning in the bounties and favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تَحْصُوهَا. And we are dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all our needs. So make sure you do your best to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you have, what you already have, and to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you need. My dear respected brother and sister in Islam, when we have an important appointment or meeting with the boss, job interview, or when we have an important event or occasion, we prepare for it. We prepare for it. And we, for a while. And we have on daily basis meetings that are more important than all of these. We are meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every day we have that great opportunity to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have access or to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during our salah. And Allah, meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who gave you everything you have, and the one in His hands everything you need, and the one on whom you are completely dependent for everything. So these meetings, they should be taken very, very seriously and should never become a routine task that we do just to get it out of the way or a habit. And we're going to have a big meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we leave this life and when we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That meeting that will determine our fate and our destiny in the hereafter. And that can happen anytime. It can happen any moment. It's not even something that is scheduled that you can. Because it can happen any moment, then the only solution we have is to be always ready, to be always prepared. So, and one of the traps or one of the mistakes that many people commit, unfortunately, is they live this life as if they are here forever. They forgot about this fact that there is a point where you're going to leave this life and it can happen any moment, and you have to be always prepared and trying to get closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until you meet Him in the best possible shape, when you are really at your peak of taqwa and worship and service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu says that إن أخوف ما أخاف عليكم طول الأمل واتباع الهوى فأما طول الأمل فينسي الآخرة وأما اتباع الهوى فيصد عن الحق. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu says that the things that I fear the most for you are طول الأمل, false hopes, living as if you are perpetuating, forgetting about, because that makes you forget the akhirah. And اتباع الهوى, following your whims and desires, because that will divert you from truth. That is, either you follow the truth or you follow your whims. You do what you are supposed to do, or you do what you like. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in several places in Quran talks about this. ذرهم يأكل ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل. In Surah Al-Hijr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the people who fall in this trap, which is to forget that this life is temporary and it can end at any moment. Leave them, eat and enjoy, and be deceived by false hopes. ذرهم يأكل ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Hadid says, addressing Muslims, addressing us, says, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَكَثِيرٌ مِّنْهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ. Isn't it about time for believers to humble themselves and their hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not to be like the people before them who were deceived by false hopes. لا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. Abdullah ibn Umar says, إذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح وإذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء وخذ من صحتك لمرضك ومن حياتك لموتك. If you wake up in the morning, you're not sure that you're going to make it until the end of the day. And if you go to sleep, you're not sure that you're going to wake up tomorrow. So take it like this. It's a very delicate balance, by the way. It's a very delicate balance. I always tell you that you need to plan and live your life in a planned way, not haphazard. Plan as if you are living here forever, as if you are staying forever. Plan long term. But always keep in mind that truth, that live your life day to day. When it comes to working for akhirah, you always remember, you need to remember that you're racing against the clock. So race and rush to invest and save with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that's what matters the moment you leave this life. So it's a delicate balance. Unfortunately for many Muslims, it's totally messed up, because people, they live their lives haphazard and they are thinking they are perpetuating. So we should do the other way around. You plan as if you are here forever, plan long term, but live your life as if it ends every day. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran that Allah يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى. We die every night. We die, we come back. That's what the verse says. That some people will come back, some people will not want. الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى. You wake up, you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you one more day. Maybe complete, maybe not. But we gave you another chance to be better prepared. That's how you see it every day. And that's how you see it every night. You go to sleep, you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you pledge that if He sends you back to life, you're going to do a better job, and you're going to try to push your limits and push yourselves. اغتنم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم says اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس شبابك قبل هرمك وصحتك قبل سقمك وغناك قبل فقرك وفراغك قبل شغلك وحياتك قبل موتك. Take advantage of 5 before 5. When you are young, before you become old. Because there are a lot of things that you can do when you are young, you cannot do when you are old. Your health, before you become sick or ill. Your resources, before you run out of them, or before you don't have them. Your spare time, before you get busy. And your life before death. وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ. So this is one trick of shaitan. Is when he makes you forget about akhirah, forget about this fact, and therefore you are not in hurry. You lose that sense of urgency of getting ready and being prepared. And this is something that we have to resist. The question is now, how do we prepare? How do we get ready to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the meaning of the hadith that the things that get people most to heaven, أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة, تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. So you are wondering how to prepare. The hadith answered the question. Taqwa, God consciousness, being mindful of Allah, and husn al-khuluq, and good manners. These are the ones that they weigh heaviest on the scale. أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. So, if you want to check how ready you are, then check these two indicators. There are two things that you can check: your taqwa and your characters, your manners. That will tell you how ready and how prepared you are to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's start with the first one, taqwa, Allah. This is a beautiful word but very loaded. It's a word that has so many meanings under it. Under taqwa of Allah comes love of Allah, fear of Allah, trust, tawakkul, faqr, ilallah, dependence. All of these come under taqwa. How do you measure it? You can measure it by how present Allah in your life. And if you compare the time you are mindful of Allah, you remember Allah, with the time that you forget Allah, or the time you are connected and the times you are disconnected, that can tell you. That's a very good measure of your taqwa and your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how present Allah in your life, how careful you are in your words, in what you say and what you do. Are you always aware that Allah is watching and you are careful? Because that's how one of the companions defined taqwa. When he was asked, what is taqwa? He answered by question. He said, have you ever walked in a road full of thorn, choke? And the person said, yes. He said, what did you do? He said, I was very careful every step of the way. He said, that's exactly what taqwa is. To be careful with everything that you do or you say. That's another measure, another way that you can measure your taqwa. How careful, how mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you are, how grateful you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the quality of your ibadah, especially your salah, very good indicator, how good it is. Are you taking good care of your prayer and preventing or avoiding that the prayer becomes a routine task, something that when become very lousy, where you don't concentrate and you pray very fast, etc. How much you are, how much care you're taking of your prayer. Now, taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we work on that relationship? There are a number of ways, number of things that you can do to work on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is knowledge. Knowledge, the more you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you love Him, the stronger is your relationship with Him. There is no question about it. That's what Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam promised, man haraf Allah ahabba. The more you know Allah, the more you love Him, the stronger is your relationship with Allah. So making an effort to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more you understand your deen and your mission in life, the more you can fulfill it, the better you can fulfill it, and therefore Allah will be pleased with you. Your ibadat, your acts of worship, quantity and quality. The more you push yourself to worship more and to improve the quality of your worship, whether it is salah, whether it is your time with Quran, whether it is dhikr, whether it is dua, whether it is fasting, whether it is charity, the more ibadah you do, and the better is the quality, that also bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tazkiyah. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see you a better person every day. That's a very efficient way to get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with you. Self-development. Working on yourself to be better all the time. Learning better habits, getting rid of bad habits, etc. Working on yourself, on your knowledge, on your health, on your akhlaq, on your everything. And in your roles, your role as a spouse, your role as a parent, in your roles, how perfecting your role, all of this will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more pleased with you. And then finally, what you do fi sabilillah. Action. What you do fi sabilillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants people to be better people. To what extent you are contributing to making the people around you better individuals. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants this world to be a better place. To what extent you are contributing, serving the greater good and making this world a better place. So your action fi sabilillah. What you do fi sabilillah. And you should try to do your maximum. Do the maximum and push your limits. That's taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can see there is so much to do. A lot of work, because in order to be prepared, to be ready to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all the benefits are yours. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with you, all the benefits are yours. Not only in the hereafter, in this life. You will reap the benefits in this life. Why? Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with you, He will put barakah in your time and in your money and in your health. They will be blessed. 1. 2, He will guide you to the best decisions. A lot of time we don't know which way to go. We're not sure. Allah will guide you to make the better choice. Allah will protect you from things that were coming your way. So when Allah is pleased with you, all the benefits are yours, and they are not only in the hereafter, they are also in this life. You start reaping the benefits and the fruits in this life. For knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. The more knowledge you have, the more that will increase your taqwa. So taqwa Allah is one. And then, حسن الخلق. Cannot imagine how much this deen emphasizes character and حسن الخلق. To the point that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he wanted to summarize his mission, he said that إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent exclusively, but to perfect the manners of people. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. You can only feel sad that when it comes to character, Muslim societies nowadays, they are not in good shape, to say the least. Even though our religion emphasizes character so much. Husn al-khuluq is critical for the hereafter, but it is also critical in this life, as we will see. If you check the status of most nations in the world, you find very strong connection between nations and societies with good character and nations that are advanced. Those are more prosperous and more successful. Their characters is the highest. And subhanAllah, that's the famous poet said, إِنَّمَا الْأُمَمُ الْأَخْلَاقُ مَا بَقِيَ فَإِنَّهُمْ ذَهَبَتْ أَخْلَاقُ ذَهَبُوا. That nations, their destiny and their situation is the result or is decided by their manners, by their characters. When their character decline, the nation decline, and vice versa. إنما الأمم الأخلاق ما بقيت فإنهم ذهبت أخلاقهم ذهبوا. What is حسن الخلق? Best manners, good character. Let's start with the baseline, minimum. The minimum of good character is not to harm anybody with an action or with the word. أن لا تؤذي أحد كف أداك عن الناس. That's the least. That's the starting point. Nothing below that. Baseline is to restrain yourself from harming anybody or hurting anybody with a word or with an action. And nowadays also with your phone or with your keyboard, a lot of people causing so much harm and hurting one another and each other's reputation on social media, and it became much easier than before, unfortunately. So, kuffa adak an al-nas. How is this linked to taqwa Allah? Taqwa Allah increases your self-restraint, makes you stronger, more capable of restraining yourself, restraining your words, your tongue, and restraining your action. The more taqwa you have, the better your brakes will be working. You restrain yourself not only from haram, but also you restrain yourself from harming and hurting others, which is also one of the biggest form of haram. So, kuffa adaka an al-nas. Make sure that subhanallah, I attended a number of times. You attend the funeral and people will tell about the person, say this person never harmed anybody, never said a word that hurts the feeling of people. It's an amazing testimony from the people who lived with that person, and they say that We never said something that hurts you. Another baseline and critical khuluq, key to all the good manners: sadaq, truthfulness, honesty, that you pledge that you will never lie under any circumstances. Never. Lying should not be an option on the table. After sadaq, truthfulness comes you keep quiet, not you lie. Lying is not an option. If you cannot exercise truthfulness, there is another option, which is to keep quiet. فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لْيَصْمُتْ, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Whoever believes in Allah and thereafter, let him say something good or keep quiet. If you don't have the courage to say the truth, don't lie. Just keep quiet. And of course, keep quiet is also not enough if you withhold a testimony. Taktum shahada. That's not even allowed. But I'm saying that in usual circumstances, after sadaq comes keeping quiet, not lying. Now, lying, it doesn't mean fabricating. Very rarely people will fabricate a story. But there are those hidden forms of lying that you need to be aware of. One, exaggeration is lying. Half-truth is lying. You report a story, but you conceal some of it. So you're going to deceive the listener. You're going to push the listener in the wrong direction. That's deception. Half-truth is lying. Mixing facts with your opinions is also a form of lying. Why? Because you are deceiving the person. The person is listening to you thinking that all what you're saying is facts. But you mixed your opinions with the facts. And that's what a lot of media do all the day, all the time. Media will mix facts with opinion and sell you the full package together. So avoid any form of lying and any form of deceptions. And one way to do that is to talk less. Because the more you talk, the greater is the chance to lie, to fall in one of these traps. The more you talk, even if you don't lie, you will commit something else that is bad, which is laghu, vain talk. The type of talking that has no use, useless. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises believers who not only don't commit laghu, they don't say vain talks, they avoid it. قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون. Those who shun vain talk. You find yourself sitting, people wasting time, hours in vain talk, you avoid it. You try to change the subject to something useful or you avoid it. So the less you talk, the safer it is. Next, on khuluq, and you heard this probably repeatedly from me. Don't do or say anything that will embarrass you if exposed. You want to live very happy life, follow these advices. This sadaq and truthfulness gives you some tranquility and peace of mind beyond your imagination. That if you follow these tips, if all the people that you know, they gather in one place and you see them talking, you don't worry. Because you never lied, you never said something that embarrassed you, you are very, very comfortable. So, never lie and never do or say anything that will embarrass you if exposed. لا تقل شيئا تعتذر منه. And forget about telling a person something and say keep it for yourself. It's never happened and never will. There is no such thing as keep it for yourself. It's behave. Why I'm saying this? Because you are dealing with Allah and Allah is watching. And that's the most important thing. It's not like because people are not watching, I can engage in backbiting. Just because people are not watching, I can do what I want. Allah is watching. And that's the true ibadah and the true ikhlas and the true taqwa. When you behave the same way in the presence of people or in their absence. because you are busy and concerned more with your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not with impressing people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look to your appearance. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسامكم بل ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. Your hearts and your deeds. You want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, work on these. Allah looks into your hearts and your deeds. So you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore that's what matters, and you should reach a point where you really behave the same way in the presence of people or in their absence. Doesn't matter, because you are concerned and worried about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is watching, and you want Him to be pleased with you. وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوب إليه. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. My dear respected brother and sister in Islam, imagine we all try to follow some of these tips. What's going to happen to extended families, to communities, to societies? The level of trust, how close people can get to one another, because everybody is restraining themselves, and nobody is worried about backbiting or about anything that is happening on their back. Imagine people trying to be honest all the time and say only the truth, say only something that is useful. Avoid vain talk or love, never lie. Imagine people are keeping their tongues and never hurt or harm anybody with a word or with an action. How close this community will be, how close any community, any society, any extended family will be, what level of trust is going to be there, and what level of unity. That was exactly the prophetic community, that we should take it as a role model, and we should be like them. We should do our best individually to be like the Prophet, and as a community to be like the prophetic community. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وتوفنا وانت راض عنا واختم بالصالحات أعمالنا واجعل خير أعمالنا خواتمها وخير أيامنا يوم نلقاك ومتعنا اللهم بالنظر إلى وجهك الكريم. ربنا ارحم والدينا كما ربونا صغارا وارحم موتانا وجميع موتى المسلمين. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا إلا قضيتها. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأقم الصلاة.